Today I'm reviewing Unicorn Store, which is currently on Netflix right now, starring Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson. They're back together again in a very whimsy, comical tale of a woman who's trying to find her place in the world, but finds it very hard to because she's just not accepted. Which is a very personal kind of note, especially for artists who feel like they struggle because their work isn't appreciated, or they just don't, they feel very misplaced in the world. This film does a very good job of tapping into those feelings, and Brie Larson does an amazing job of being very lighthearted. I actually really was happy that I got to see her in another film other than Captain Marvel, because for me, this was the Brie Larson I wanted to see. Her emotion is a lot more involved. You see her, one moment she's smiling or she's, intrigued by something, and then the next moment she's at her lowest point. And it's very nice and refreshing to see her be able to do those emotions. You really feel sorry for her, and you start to kind of develop a very big connection with her because she ends up becoming so relatable, as a growing adult just trying to find their place in the world. She's constantly being nagged by her parents, played by Joan Cusack and Jean Whitford, to either, kind of join what they're doing or just to go out there and just to keep trying to succeed in life. And rather than finding this to be a comfort, she kind of tends to push her parents out a lot, which for me kind of killed the film a bit, just because although I liked the, childish side of her, I also felt like realistically, it was kind of hard to watch. I know that, there are certain people who are very eccentric, and do have a childlike mentality, but it kind of messed a little bit with the realism of life. Her behavior, I don't know, it kind of makes you feel like she can't possibly be this gullible or this childish. And like I said, in a few moments, in some moments, it's very nice to see, because it kind of makes you want to rekindle that relationship with your inner child. It also kind of makes you get a little frustrated because you're just like, geez, she's really far off. And the words crazy do come to mind, but for the most part, I just enjoyed it just because it was really nice to see Brie kind of more alive, giving some emotion, especially with the opening of the film. There's kind of like a video montage of her growing up, and then it kind of cuts to the scene where she's, painting something. And the sheer joy on her face is something that I think all artists or just anybody who's ever created something can really relate to. And that was really, really nice to open the scene with, because it already gave you that wholesome heart feeling. The movie also tackles something that I think is also very important, and something very overwhelming that a lot of people don't talk about, and it's kind of fitting into corporate America, kind of bending your personality to fit into the yes man role, and being able to kind of be what everybody expects you to be, but you don't want to be that. You want to be yourself. I think that the film does a very good job at portraying this, with two times where Brie just kind of seems to be, Kit kind of seems to be struggling a lot with wanting to be the adult that her parents want her to be, but also still wanting to be this child that is spreading happy and magic in the world. And it's a very nice thing to see. There's a lot of contrast in the film because of it, and I think that it really adds to kind of give you a very good feeling about the kind of person that she is, and just kind of what her mindset is towards life. Kit finds herself getting an invitation to something called the store. And at first, it kind of seems that the invitation seemed to not be getting to her. And then finally, at one point, she finally notices it, and she decides to go ahead and look into it. And so when she gets there, she finds Samuel L. Jackson, who is the salesman, and promises that he can sell her what she wants and what she needs. Or at that point, she says, or I guess she wants and needs a unicorn. So the film takes a bit of a weird turn where Brie / Kit is basically preparing to get a unicorn. And it's one of those things where it's you get caught in the cuteness of it, but then you also think, what? And the film kind of does kind of make you feel that way too, because at one point, her character really is struggling with herself, thinking, no, stop, this is crazy, there's no way. But then in the next moment, she just full-blown goes for it. At that point, the film does take a weird dive where the character does really believe that this is happening, and it is kind of hard to swallow, but at the same time, it kind of leaves you at the point where you're just like, all right, I'm gonna see where they're going with this. And that's kind of how I felt pretty much about the film at that point. The movie does a really good job of trying to unravel the cause for the reason why this character is the way that she is. They try to give you a lot of backstory. They try to show the struggle that she faces not only inside herself, but with her parents, which I appreciated it, but I was also kind of annoyed in a sense. Her parents really aren't bad parents. They're really nice, loving, supportive people, but Kit's character kind of makes you feel like she's a brat almost, and she really doesn't appreciate her parents at all. And that was kind of hard to watch, just because I didn't really see anything bad on the parents' side. So it was kind of hard to kind of like see, why she was so annoyed. She just kind of came off very bratty and selfish. I also do want to mention that I wasn't too crazy about the men that were casted in this movie. Although it was nice to see Karan Soni, who plays Kevin. He also plays the cab driver in Deadpool. It was nice to see it was nice to see him again doing something, but I don't know. I don't really feel like he fit well in this film. And I'm not too sure why. It just didn't work for me. He did give a lot of the comedy in the film, but for the most part, I feel like that was kind of Kit's role. So I guess maybe I thought it was a little excess. And I don't really feel like his character kind of added anything to the film. So I just feel like the film could have definitely gone without that extra character. Also, the young man that plays Virgil, Mamodo Arthi, he's also a weird addition to this film. I liked his character, and I thought the young man playing him did a very good job. For me, she looks a lot older than him, and although she was acting younger, the roles just, for me, the chemistry just didn't really hit me as hard as I wanted it to. And I felt like possibly if they have chose someone just a little bit maybe older looking, it would have worked a little bit better. I really don't know how old he is, but he just didn't look as old as she did. And it was very hard to kind of believe that this romance was kind of kindling for me. But I did like the relationship between them. It was just hard for me to kind of ingest it, just because I felt like, he looks 15 and she kind of looks in her late 20s. So it was kind of hard for you to just sit there and go, I can see this. I also had an issue with the way that the film ended. I don't want to spoil it, but the film kind of killed one of its own rules in a sense where the store is only meant for people who need it, and someone who didn't particularly need it was able to see what it could offer. And I thought that was very kind of like a whoops moment on their part, and it's just something I'm still questioning. I don't know what the reason was for all of a sudden this could happen, but I kind of felt like the story went against its own rules in a sense. And so for me, that was kind of like a moment, because I just wasn't sure why it was happening, and there was no explanation as to why it happened. I also didn't like the way the film ended. Oh, no. The film ended on a very trailing kind of note. Like, I feel like they wanted to kind of make it a happily ever after, walk into the sunset kind of moment, but kind of more or less what I got was the climax, and then I kind of wanted to see just like an extra 5-10 minutes of just what happened after that climax. But I didn't get that. It was just climax and then boom, end, credits. And I was like, oh, okay. And it just kind of leaves you wondering, like, what happened next? What happened to this character? Where did she go? What did she do with, this closure that she finally got? Like, I just have questions rather than kind of feeling that movie you're supposed to feel, because I'm pretty sure this could be considered a good feel movie. I didn't really feel good. I felt confused. The film did a really good job of, trying to teach the audience a lesson, kind of reminding you that, we're all kind of kids inside, and we all kind of want magic, and we all want that wonder in life. And it kind of makes you want to rekindle that relationship. That was a really important and nice feeling to feel from the film. I wish it had ended better, but I think all in all, it was a really successful film, and I really enjoyed watching it, which is something I haven't been able to say about a lot of films recently. So I'm pretty happy with the end result of it. I'm gonna give Unicorn Store a 3.5.
Braid its hair, sing its songs, bake it cookies.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to see more, you can go ahead and click subscribe. Also, let me know what were your thoughts about the film. Have you seen it yet? If you haven't, go ahead and check it out and let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.